Thank you very much for making a date on the marketplace. Now, the local currency is still struggling to stabilize against the US dollar. It is now selling at around 5 Ghana cedis 20 pesos. This represents a significant depreciation against the dollar over the past week. So what can be done to halt the cedi's free fall in value? There's more in this report.
Checks the platform used by currency dealers show that some were even asking for 5 cedis 32 pesos for $1 during trading yesterday. This was due to what can be described as limited dollar supply. Some of the commercial banks have even told Joy Business that cedi's problems have gotten worse because there's not enough dollars on the market to meet the demand of businesses. Most of these firms need these dollars to finance their imports, while the decision of some multinationals to repatriate their profits and pay dividend has also contributed to the situation. Some of the currency dealers have also blamed the Bank of Ghana for the current situation, arguing that things wouldn't have gotten that bad if they had been on the market. But persons close to the central bank have rejected this argument, insisting it needs to be strategic with their interventions to ensure that it does not deplete all its reserves, which is said to be more than $7 billion. However, some economists have also maintained it might be good for the Bank of Ghana to quickly step in now and not wait for things to get out of hand before they react.
Meanwhile, government is likely to begin a roadshow in the coming days to raise up to $3 billion in Eurobond. We understand the government is planning to use the funds to clear maturing debts and some expensive loans. Sources say the transaction advisors for the offer are expected to be named soon to aid this fundraising exercise. It is, however, not clear for now whether the government may raise the entire amount at once or in separate tranches. One important issue, though, is how this Eurobond will impact the current IMF program, which is being reviewed. We're trying to link up with our economist with data bank Courage Boti to analyze this particular issue and tell us how it's going to impact the economy and businesses as a whole. Now, before we get back to him, let's move on to another story. Now, so Price Waterhouse, the first edition of Joy Business PricewaterhouseCoopers Tax Knowledge Series ended at the Mövenpick Hotel in Accra a while ago. The event, which brought together various businesses, is aimed at increasing the knowledge of business owners on the country's tax laws. Let's have an excerpt of the discussions.
Talking about digitalization, we've experienced where, as a country, we've made a lot of investment in that direction, where all of us know at the port we have a paperless system. And we also are aware that the GRA has this e-portal, which, all things being equal, should be relieving most taxpayers from some of these challenges we have as taxpayers. Incidentally, the e-portal is functional, but only in a very limited way. Currently, you can do some filing and you can effect some payment. It actually causes some delay. The GRA themselves are not excited about how it's performing. However, they are committed to ensuring that this e-portal will work effectively. We are looking at a situation where we could get to the centralization of the system nationwide, where all systems and procedures would be working effectively and efficiently, such that you can do your e-filing and effect your e-payments, request for a TCC, look at your balance, look at your position on withholding taxes and everything.
What's a TCC? Sorry, I just...
Tax clearance certificate.
Ah, okay.
Actually, the law looks at a situation where you use the electronic system to apply for a tax clearance certificate.
Wow.
And then it will be issued appropriately. So those are not functioning at the moment, but that is where I think at the end of the day we are all looking to get into. Should we be able to get there, then on a nationwide basis, irrespective of where you were, in the convenience of your room, you can do your filing and effect your payments. And that would save us a lot of cost in terms of making payments, in terms of compliance.
All right, so we will certainly bring you the views of other speakers at the event in our subsequent bulletins. Now, in the stock market, your best shot at investments, when you should invest in stocks, shares, or equities. All of these is being broken down by Philip and Odelia following their training with Bloomberg.
We're here to tell you exactly what should happen in these two cases. When the economy is doing well, where you should put your money, and when the economy is not doing well, where you should be putting your money. Well, we're going straight into discussing issues relating to stocks, what they are, and indeed when you should put your money into stocks.
Odelia, so essentially, if I have a stock, it means I have part ownership in the company.
That's right.
It's referred to as either a stock, a share, or an equity. So you have a stake in this company's function. One example will be MTN. Recently, they listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange, and by that, Ghanaians became part and parcel of the shareholders of MTN.
So what Philip is saying essentially is that if you hear somebody say a stock, a share, or an equity, all these three are the same.
Okay, so essentially when I put my money in a company, I expect to make something back in two ways. One, I make it back in terms of dividends.
That's right.
So at the end of a financial year, that's typically 1 year when a company operates and they make some profit, they give me some of it. Two, the other way I'll make money from owning a stock is by trading on what we call the stock exchange. And in Ghana here, we have what we call the Ghana Stock Exchange, where we buy and sell shares, stock, or equity. So anytime there's a demand for a certain stock, let me use MTN again, and the share price goes up, then if I'm holding a certain quantity of that MTN stock, and that price goes up, then I've made some gains on that stock. So I can sell it off to somebody, and the difference between what the price was before and what the price went to is what we call capital gains or capital appreciation.
Okay.
So that's essentially the two ways in making money from stocks.
So somebody will ask that at what time do we call a stock being floated as an IPO, and at what time will they go on to the secondary market? So if you could also break that down.
Okay, lovely question. So the first time a company goes on the stock exchange, MTN was privately held by a number of shareholders, and they decided that, look, you know what, we want to give Ghanaians some ownership of MTN. So they decided to do that through the stock exchange. And the first time a company comes to market is what we call the initial public offering. So that's the IPO. Now, if I decide to buy some shares of MTN, and after a period of time I want to sell it and buy maybe something in EcoBank, then that's where the secondary market comes inside. So the primary market is where for the first time I go and buy MTN shares and MTN list on the stock market. Secondary comes inside when we buy and sell MTN shares on the same Ghana Stock Exchange. So there's a platform, if I can call it that, where we can trade these shares. Yeah. So if you have MTN shares and you want to sell it off and you want to buy my EcoBank, then we do that transaction on the secondary market.
Somebody will want to find out when they trade off their shares on the secondary market, does the profits they make, part of it go to the company that initially offered the shares, or profits then are shared between whoever is buying or selling on the secondary market?
Okay, so this is where I said capital gains. And the word used here is capital gains. Profit is reserved for after a company runs its operations and you realize that, okay, you know what, I've made this number of revenue and my costs are this. So when I subtract the revenue from the cost or the cost from the revenue, then I have my profit. But when I'm trading on the stock exchange, anything I make in terms of an increase in the share price is a capital gain.
And so definitely that does not go to the company. It goes to
you, the investor,
That's right.
or the shareholder, or the stockholder, or the equity holder. How the company may profit, in the sense, is that if people buy their stock in a very large number, demand and supply comes to play, it pushes the share price of the company up. And if there are people within the company that are holding some shares, directors, members, whatever, they stand to benefit. Sometimes compensation of key management of some companies is tied to their stock prices. So if your stock price goes up, then you stand to benefit a lot. So how does the stock price go up? It's all based on information. If a company releases some good financials, it does well, it does some good corporate something, then you're going to see a demand for that stock and it's going to push it up. And in turn, managers of that company will benefit from that appreciation of the stock price. Is that cool?
That's cool. Yeah.
Okay. So that's essentially what the stock market is all about. Buying and selling of shares where we can make more money and where companies initially go to raise money from you and I. And that's essentially what Ghana Stock Exchange seeks to do. There are about 35 to 41 companies. If you check data compiled by Bloomberg, it says 35. If you check data from Ghana Stock Exchange, it says 41. So let's put it within that range. And if you look at other markets, like the US, for example, they have about 7,000 plus companies on the stock exchange. We are nowhere near there. It's going to take some time for companies to come on.
We actually have 30,000 stocks being traded.
Whoa! You see? So you realize that over a period of time, managers of the economy should put in place good measures that will see companies go on the stock exchange, not just because they have to go on the stock exchange, because it's a primary tool for looking for money. But apart from that, stock exchanges are barometers of economic growth.
My name is Odelia.
And my name is Philip Danfuri.
Thank you. This is Breaking It Down.
That's some good education there by Philip and Odelia on breaking it down of the stock market. Let's move our attention to another story here. CEO of Airtel Tigo, Mitwa Ngambi, says the company is committed to enhancing the use of smartphones as well as driving digitalization of the economy. As part of this objective, Airtel Tigo has entered into partnership with smartphone maker Samsung Ghana to launch the Life Just Got Lit campaign in Accra. Mitwa Ngambi says statistics indicate there's still a huge opportunity for growth when it comes to smartphone adoption in the country, and that a company is partnering Samsung to help bridge the gap.
Telecom operator Airtel Tigo has teamed up with smartphone maker Samsung to launch the Life Just Got Lit campaign. CEO of Airtel Tigo, Mitwa Ngambi, says statistics indicate there is still a huge opportunity for growth when it comes to smartphone adoption in the country, and that her company is partnering Samsung to help bridge the gap.
2019, the year that we make customers' lives better. And one of the ways that we see that we can do that is to encourage and penetrate the use of smartphones. In order to do that, we have a strategic partner in Samsung, who is a giant in its own right. Samsung this year celebrates 50 years of Samsung Electronics' existence, as well as the 10th year of the Samsung Galaxy phone. And we saw it a really good opportunity for us to come together to see how we can join forces in terms of driving smartphone adoption in this country. So in terms of both of our objectives in this country, we share one common objective, which is the driving of digitization within this economy. And one way that we do it is that we obviously have an entire network that drives the use of the internet. Of course, our network is accessed by devices such as Samsung devices. So on the part of Samsung, they also have the intention of increasing the number of sales with Samsung devices while staying connected to our network as well.
New and existing consumers will get free packages, including SIM cards, free minutes to call, and data to purchase any Samsung phones or tablets in Airtel Tigo shops, among others. Marketing manager of Samsung Ghana, Tracy Che, was happy about the partnership and noted that Samsung is also happy to be part of government's digitalization agenda.
One of the key things for Samsung is to have good quality products that enhance the life of consumers. And like my MD said, given that it's no longer a global village but a digital one, we're happy to partner an operator like Airtel Tigo, as given that they're also the second largest telco in Ghana at the moment. So we're very excited to partner with them to actually boost the mandate of even the government to enhance or make every consumer in Ghana take them digital. So
Samsung marks 10 years of existence of its Galaxy brand.
It's live on the marketplace. Let's now move on to one of our top stories here. And 41 cartons of carbonated special ice drinks, tobacco products and other assorted items have been seized from distributors and retail shops in the Central Business District of Accra. The exercise by the task force of the Ghana Revenue Authority is in line with this quest to achieve full compliance of the excise tax stamp laws. Ebenezer Sabuti, our correspondent, is with the team on the operations and is joining us live by phone for some updates. Ebenezer, good afternoon. Welcome to the marketplace.
Hello, good afternoon, Abadi.
All right, so what more can you tell us about this action today?
So the operation is actually part of the sensitization program by the Ghana Revenue Authority to ensure that there's full implementation and compliance of the excise tax stamp policy. So today's operation is actually centered on the Central Business District, Accra, which comprises of Makola, Okra Square, Rolling Park, and other areas in the Central Business District. And they've actually gotten some products that were not affected with the tax stamp. So there's a need for them to take the product back to the office for the owners of these shops to explain why they've not been able to affix the tax stamp on it.
So what amount, can you tell us, what amount of products have been seized and who are involved?
Let me say it's not too significant. I mean, the products, we have some drink from such special ice, special grape juice, and then some tobacco products as well. And then assorted wine. Assorted wine also, which I can't recall the labels immediately, but they are very, assorted products. And some also tobacco, somehow. So they've been seized for now, and they said they were giving them some time to come and explain why they've not been able to affix the tax stamp on them.
Now, what was their initial explanation for their inability to fix tax stamps? Hello, Ebenezer. All right, so we lost our man Ebenezer Sabote here.
Hello, what's that?
Eben.
Hello.
Now, I just want to know what was their initial, explanation for not affixing the tax stamps.
Most of them were saying that the tax stamp were given to the companies themselves. So if they come to the shops without the stamp, if the product comes to the shop without the tax stamp, they have nothing to do about it because all that they know is that the tax stamp. They have nothing to do about it because all that they know is that the tax stamp is being given to the industries. And therefore, they cannot be faulted for not affixing the tax stamp on the material. Meanwhile, we got to some of the retail shops where the manufacturers have given the tax stamp to these retailers to affix on the product themselves, but they've not been able to do it. They were complaining about them getting time and all that. But the GRA officials were lenient on them. They gave them some time to do that before the next operation date, which will be announced later.
Has the exercise ended for now? If not, where next is your destination?
As I speak, the exercise has come to an end. We are currently at the head office of the GRA, which we are hoping that the commissioner will address us briefly. But we are still waiting on him to hear whatever he will have to tell us.
All right, many thanks for that update, Ebenezer Sabote, bringing us up to speed with an exercise by the GRA Task Force, which has seized some cartons of assorted drinks and other tobacco products for not embossing tax stamps on them. Now, moving away from that, British model and businesswoman Naomi Campbell has expressed interest to lead a group of investors into the country to scout for business opportunities. This follows a recent discussion between the model and the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, GIPC, during the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. According to the Chief Executive Officer of the GIPC, Yofi Grant, the move, when successful, will see the model establish a business in the country which can serve other parts of the world.
She's a very well-connected person, and through her, I met the CEO of Condé Nast. Condé Nast is a huge platform that does magazines like Vanity Fair, Business Traveler, The Traveler, Destinations. It's a huge. And so they are looking at Ghana and say, how can we put Ghana further on the map? And what do we need? And does it mean that we can bring investments also into Ghana? And she's looking at doing a Ghana event in the US, where it would be Ghana food, Ghana fashion, Ghana music, all together in one pot, and trying to replicate it here in Ghana as well as other places. And apart from that, she's also looking at her own group of investors to see what they can do in Ghana. So I think gradually we are getting to the map, and as you've heard, CNN has said that Ghana is definitely one of the places to visit. We are also steadily climbing up on the ease of doing business. We are steadily becoming more attractive as an investment destination. So I am very hopeful, and that's why I say if you're a young person in Ghana today, you should be excited about the future.
Let's do some international business news now. And Democrats and Republicans have reached an agreement in principle over border security to fund the U.S. government and avert another partial shutdown. The agreement contains only a fraction of the money President Donald Trump wants for his promised border wall and does not mention a concrete barrier.
Deal still needs to be approved by Congress and signed by the president. Speaking later, Mr. Trump did not say whether he would back it. The Democrats, who now control the House of Representatives, have refused to approve the $5.7 billion for Mr. Trump's wall on the border with Mexico, one of his key campaign pledges. Lawmakers expressed optimism that a bill will be approved by Friday when funding runs out for some federal agencies.
Well, on that note, we draw the curtains down on this afternoon's edition of The Marketplace. It's been great having you on board as usual. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji. Let's meet again, same time tomorrow. But meantime, you can get more news when you log on to myjournline.com/business. Have a good afternoon.